This is truly the part of the show where we have a look at what Games Workshop have been up to, and we say female custodians really did kill the company. Jokes aside, we've got the annual report from Games Workshop out yesterday. I spent all day yesterday and a little bit of today going through it, but it definitely has some interesting things in there. I thought we could go in and have a look. We've been pretty solid during the year managing our cash costs and investments. Net cash generation from our core operation is at planned levels, and dividends and have paid at record levels for truly surplus cash, all in line with our detailed operational plans and policies. The exception was the news about tariffs and the cute looking pipistrelle bat that is delaying our work. Is that COVID thing? That is delaying our work on our new temporary car park. What is this referring to? We're carefully looking after the bat, and we hope uncertainty around the tariffs to resolve soon. We are also mindful of the increase of supply chain disruption and as a direct consequence of conflicts around the world. In the UK, you can't move bats. Oh, it's a literal bat. Bats are stopping them build. What? Look at the little bat. It's like, no car park for you. And finally, Warhammer expansion put on a bat burner. Games Workshop, the company behind the globally popular Warhammer game, has revealed that the presence of a single bat is delaying its plans to expand operations in Nottingham. I did not know that. That is hilarious. The FTSE 100 firm announced that the common pipistrelle bat, one of the UK's smallest bat species, has been discovered on a plot of land near its headquarters, where it planned to build a temporary car park. Due to legal protections surrounding the bats in their habitats, the discovery has triggered ecological protocols that must be followed before any construction can proceed. The site in question sits within Games Workshop's headquarters campus on a Nottingham industrial estate, home to 2 production facilities in the flagship One World store. The unexpected wildlife encounter was disclosed in the company's latest investor update. While noting that performance remained solid despite some pressure from US tariffs, the company acknowledged that the bat had caused an anticipated delay. Oh my god! The Night Haunter is preventing them from expanding, ruling through fear, stalking them in the shadows. I bet the bat doesn't need ID to have a wank. Anyway, this stream is sponsored by your latest VPN. I wonder why people kept saying bat. I didn't understand. That is cute. One little bat. Shout out to the bat. Fucking real one. They've got a cam on the bat house waiting for the little fella to croak it so they can get cracking on with the site. That's so funny. Anyway, tariffs. Our current estimate is if we did nothing, new tariffs could impact profit before tax by 12 million. This new problem will be dealt with in our normal pragmatic way. Pragmatic way equal price hikes. Yeah, I mean, we will not change our operational plans too much. We already have a US corporate entity and are investing in our base in Memphis and opening stores across most states. Some of our trade partners, staff and customers are nervous, so to be clear, it is business as usual for Games Workshop, mostly out of our control. We continue to manage our taxes in line with our policies and monitoring with the ongoing legislative changes in the US and any potential impact on our effective tax rate. To be honest, I think the what is more likely is, yeah, if everybody gets a price rise, it's not as big in the US, you know what I mean? If they do a price rise in the UK to counter it, and in the US at the same time, it's obviously less than just rising in the US, which, you know, which they, in my opinion, should do. Tariff costs are likely to reduce our reported gross margin next year. We have a detailed operational plan to make up the 2% gross margin shortfall through efficiencies. And I highlighted that. You know, the other day, I put out a video on the second channel talking about how they're starting to lay people off. I think this might be a part of it, to be honest. You know? Couple of 40, 50 grands here and there quickly make up 2 million, you know what I mean? Is efficiency sacking the White Dwarf bloke? I personally think, yeah. Personally, I think that's probably what it's referring to. Like I spoke about, I didn't have the answers when I was talking about these layoffs, you know what I mean? And yeah, I only knew about 2, but there's definitely more that's happened. I think Games Workshop must be having a huge overhaul to save a little bit of money, to save these, to save this 12 million in profit, you know what I mean? So yeah, the other day I didn't have the answer. Now, I personally think I do. Yeah, staffing budgets are usually always the largest permanent cost for any business. Yeah, literally. Efficiency cuts with those profit numbers are gross. I agree. I 100% agree, but I can see why they're doing it. I think that's what might be why they're doing it, you know what I mean? They're working through efficiencies. For efficiencies is usually what they mean is when they're laying people off, you know what I mean? That's how I understand it. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm only just like, I'm trying to like add 2 and 2 together. But yeah, I was shows like, oh, the efficiencies, that's why people are getting laid off. That's why there's lots of things changing at GW. They know Trump is going to be around for at least another 3 years, so they need to build more resiliency to count for the next mental thing he does. Yeah, literally. Also, efficiency cuts are always bottom to top, which is infuriating. Yeah, I agree. This is not a simple task. We're already efficient. It may take longer than 1 year. We will continue to invest in capacity to enable future growth. This investment is not matched by revenue increase in the short term. We will also continue to invest in necessary new jobs. Okay, bin everyone off and then make new jobs. Right, okay. 3% has been awarded for 25, 26, as well as increasing the base pay in the UK to £12.75 per hour above the national living wage, and raise our RRPs on new product. The average was 5% in 2024-2025 to represent the significant investment it's taken to deliver them. So if you think new models are more expensive, they're literally saying why. They are saying they're costing a little bit more. There's a bit more investment to make them, and there's an average increase on new models by 5%. So if they made 10 Chaos Space Marines a year ago for £100, this year they're £105, what they call Emperor's Children. Can't wait for the South Park episode where Trump argues with GW. Well, GW aren't raising the price. Well, they're not raising the prices in the US. They're going to do it through stuff like this. The new stuff is just going to be more expensive. New models only price rise. Yeah, it tells me that they're just making the RRPs for new models higher than they would be. You know, they're not like focusing on raising everything, because I think they've had enough criticism of raising the price of a Land Raider that's been out for 20 years. But what they can do is bring new stuff out, and the RRP is just high. That explains why the Jump Pack Canoness was the most expensive non-named character when she came out last year. Yeah, literally. The profit margin on all kit must be massive at this point. Unless you need to redo the molds, then the design and tooling costs would have been paid off years ago. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It is all just profit now. It's just operating costs. Anyway, the mass market presentation of the Warhammer 40,000 IP via a very popular animation Secret Level Episode 5 and the video game Space Marine 2 certainly helped us. We had more visitors to our own stores at the time, and we sold products relating to our IP that appeared the show and the game. Redemptor Dreadnoughts, Repulsors, Thousand Suns, Hellbrews, all stonks. That's all we're referring to in the article. So everything that was appearing in the IP. So Titus sold fucking numbers. You know, Titus as a miniature sold fucking numbers, but then everything else that appeared in the game. So imagine a lot of tactical, lot of like intercessors and captains and sergeants and stuff like that, and lieutenants. But also probably like I said, like Redemptor Dreadnoughts and Repulsors were quite popular in the game. Thousand Suns, like Terminators, Rubrics and stuff. But then why don't my local game store have 8 boxes of Lieutenant Titus? Well, if you're in the fucking Australia, mate, it's probably because they're like £700. But yeah, Tyranids as well, like Raveners and stuff. There's a reason Raveners came out quite quickly this year, because they were like, holy shit, why are we selling these old shit where we can make new ones? But yeah, Tyranids, definitely. Swarmlords, Hive Tyrants and stuff like that will be selling huge. Time will tell whether this was temporary. It also coincided with the release of some of our best ever new Warhammer miniatures. Pragmatically, we'll accept anything that helps us introduce our wonderful Warhammer hobby to fans around the world. Our job remains the same: to engage and inspire them enough to come back for more. The operational board judges whether we are successful in periods of years and weeks, not months. In that time frame, there are no silver bullets. Space Marine 2 just sold silly stuff, so I think what we'll see is more tie-in models. I think we'll definitely see more tie-in models because it is just a way to print money, personally. That's how I understand it.